Well, hey there. Welcome to this week's episode of Strong and Sculpted, the podcast by me, Kim Constable, aka the Sculpted Vegan, about all things strong and all things sculpted. And this week we are going to talk about supplements. People always want to know about supplements. They want to know, what supplements do you take to build? What supplements do you take to shred? What supplements should I be taking? What supplements should I not be taking? And although supplements can give you a competitive edge and can give you kind of marginal gains whenever you're training really hard in the gym, they really are not the be all and end all. And there are times when you should be taking them to maximize your muscle gains and maximize your shred if you are dieting. And then there's times whenever you need to avoid certain supplements. So today in this episode, which was a live that I did, I break down supplements, when you should take them, what you should do with them, how much you should take them, how many supplements you do actually need. And we dive into all things supplement. And don't forget that if you leave me a review on iTunes, we do a draw every single month to pick out a winner of one of our Sculpted Vegan programs, including the $1,500 Sculpt and Shred program. And all you have to do is leave us a review on iTunes. We will randomly pick a winner from someone who leaves a review every single month. So make sure, if you haven't done it already, that you leave us a review. And this week, the winner could be you. And I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. So I hope you enjoy this episode of Strong and Sculpted about all things supplements, and I will speak to you again at the end. So I want to talk a wee bit about supplements. I want to talk a lot about supplements today, actually, and definitely want to answer your questions about them. But I wanted to explain something about supplements first, okay? So the supplements in this and all of my programs are entirely optional. Supplements, I think a lot of people think that if they take supplements, they're going to get extra special results, okay? And it's actually not true. If you take supplements, you're not going to get extra special results. Supplements do help to aid with recovery. Supplements help to aid digestion, and many times they help to grow more muscle. They help your body to repair and recover. So they can help your body to recover better, to repair more muscle, or to build more muscle faster. And they can obviously help with different health issues, but supplements in and of themselves will not really make a massive difference to your overall journey. I'm a big believer in supplements, and I have always taken them, but there are many, many athletes who do not take supplements and still get absolutely exceptional results. So it's something that is very hard to measure. I can't say to you, if you take this, this will happen. There have been a lot of scientific studies done over the years into creatine and L-glutamine and all those different things. And those studies are available on the internet. If you just go looking for them, you'll find them. And so the supplements that I've chosen to include in this program are generally ones that are backed extensively by research. And of course, there are many, many, many supplements on the market, and many supplements claiming to do all kinds of wonderful things. But truly, at the end of the day, like anything, you can overwhelm yourself with information. And I have found that the simpler you keep things, the better. So whenever we first launched the Sculpted Vegan program, we had this was 2 years ago, we had a very extensive and very long list of supplements that you could choose from. So it wasn't to take all of them, but we had them broken down into, because health is so important to me, we had them broken down into general health, and we had them broken down into, if you're stressed, or if you can't sleep, or if you're trying to lose weight, or trying to gain weight, or all these different things, or have digestive issues. We had the supplements broken down very comprehensively into different categories. But what we were finding was that it was just overwhelming the members. They were like, oh my God, there's so much information here, really not sure what I should be adding or what I should be taking. And so I thought, whenever you're just starting out taking supplements, and I know many of you are seasoned supplement takers, which is fine, or you have your own favorite ones that support your health and fitness, that's perfect. But whenever you're just starting out in the world of supplements, I thought I would reduce the list right down. And I think, oh my goodness, I'm going to yawn. Oh, it just came upon me. I'm so sorry. I am so exhausted. I have been working so hard and on functioning on very little sleep and traveling across time zones, and literally just living on caffeine and adrenaline. So I apologize. I was like, thought I was going to burp and it come out as a yawn. So we have broken down the supplements into general health, ones that I would recommend that are essential and ones that are optional. And then we've broken them down into muscle growth and fat burning. So just really simple sections in the supplements. And then, as you move through the program, we can advise, different supplements, or as you, way down the line, we can, advise different ones that you want to take. Or if you are suffering from a particular condition, then we have different ones that we can recommend that you take. But right now, all I want you to do is to focus on the essential ones and keep things simple and just to build from there. So the thing about supplements as well is a well-timed supplement stack will help to boost your results. But it will never replace good nutrition or hard work. So, fat burning supplements, although they do help in the long run, if you were just to take, say, alpha-lipoic acid or L-carnitine and you didn't train, you're not really going to notice any measurable results. So supplements work whenever you are combining them with training and with nutrition, and whenever you're doing it, in a really smart way, that's whenever they work best. But they really are not the be all and end all. And if your budget is really stretched and you're just like, you know what, Kim, I just can't afford any more supplements, or I just, this is all I can afford, then that's no problem at all. Just you take what suits your budget and leave the rest. And please don't ever worry that you're missing out. Don't ever be like, oh my God, like I'm not going to, get a really, shit hot body. I'm not going to get the best results in this program. I'm not going to get the same results as everybody else in this program. You are going to get the same results. Okay. You just, so I don't ever want you to worry. As long as you're willing to show up, be consistent, do the work, then you will get the results. So you don't need to worry about, you don't need to worry if you can't take them or if it doesn't suit your budget. Because I know the supplements are expensive, right? Like they really are expensive. So, and protein powder is so expensive. So again, if you don't want to take protein powder, you don't have to. You can find your protein sources from real food. It's no problem at all. But protein powder is just, it's expensive because it's convenient, right? It's basically a convenience food. So you can just choose whatever works for you. So let's work through the supplements from the start, and I'll explain to you, why I have them listed the way I have them listed. So the first supplement that I always recommend that people take, or the first supplements that I recommend that you are on, first and foremost, are for general health. So general health supplements are the first priority for everybody. And this is because if your body is not in a healthy mindset, or your body isn't in a healthy state, you're not going to get the best results you could on this program. The reason why I always say to people, I think that whenever I started training in the gym, the reason why I got phenomenal results really quickly was because I had been practicing yoga for 10 years. I was a detox yoga specialist, and I had basically been spending the last probably 4 years before I designed the Sculpted Vegan program cleansing my body, like daily yoga practices designed to cleanse and rinse the abdominal organs, designed to stimulate the liver. I was very heavily into, liver cleansing herbs and adaptogenic herbs, and always adding things to my water, eating whole plant-based food. I didn't drink a lot of alcohol. I got loads of sleep. I don't eat a lot of fat or sugar, very little, if ever, processed foods. So my body was in a very, very clean state. And my liver was very healthy, wasn't carrying, I had no fat in my liver. So it was able to do its job very efficiently. So what a lot of people don't realize, one of the things that I love to teach is that your liver is your biggest fat burning organ of your body. Many people don't know this. They think that it's just for, detoxification. And a lot of you have heard me teach this before, so apologies if I'm repeating stuff that I've already said, but I think it's important to go over it again. So the liver is the biggest fat burning organ of the body. The liver is designed to cleanse your blood. So your liver processes 1 pint of blood every single hour, and it processes 2 pints whenever you're eating. So as soon as you start to eat, your body starts to speed up. That's why you get hot. Do you ever eat and you start to get really warm? It's because the minute you start digesting food, your body starts pumping blood faster around your body because it wants to deliver the nutrients quickly. So the food goes into your stomach, then it goes into your small intestine, then it's actually absorbed through the small intestine into the bloodstream, and it's filtered out really quickly into the muscles and into fat store and into the organs, into the tissues. That's why we recommend that you take Vitargo after training, because it's absorbed almost instantly into the bloodstream, and then your body wants to store that Vitargo very quickly, and it will store it in the muscles very quickly, which helps your muscles to repair and grow. So that's why it's important to keep your liver very, very clean. A lot of times whenever people have problems losing body fat, it's because their liver is slow. And actually, the bigger you are, the harder it is to lose fat, conversely, usually because you have fatty liver. So fatty liver is something that, whenever you store body fat, you store body fat internally, which is called visceral fat, and under the skin, which is called subcutaneous fat. So the visceral fat we obviously don't see, but whenever you have fat externally or you have fat subcutaneously and you can see it in your body, then you definitely have fat in your liver and around your organs as well, which is quite horrifying. So a lot of people do have fat in their liver. And when you have fat in your liver, especially if you're overweight, it slows your liver down and it makes it more sluggish because it's clogged, especially as well if you have had if you've been taking a lot of medication, then it puts more pressure on your liver. If you have been quite toxic with your body and you haven't really been taking care of yourself, but you're here now, so good for you. You're making changes. But if you haven't been maybe taking care of your body as well as you should up until now, then possibly you may find that you just need to get your body into a really good clean state in order for this program to work really, really well. So the cleaner your liver is, the more you start to lower your body fat, the more you take care of your general health. You make sure that your organs are nourished and well taken care of. You make sure you're getting enough sleep. You make sure that you are supplementing in a really intelligent way. Then the more likely you are to get spectacular results in this program. So that's, I believe, is one of the reasons why I got extremely good results when I started, because my whole body was primed and ready to build muscle. My tissues were stretched and flexible and flushed with blood from practicing yoga every day, and my organs were clean and cleansed, and my body was in a very, very healthy state. So you always want to think health first more than anything else. I don't ever want anyone to jump into fat burning supplements or jumping into muscle building supplements or whatever before they look at their general health. General health supplements are the most important ones to take straight off. I never sacrifice my health for how I look. If I had to make a choice to sacrifice my health to stand up on stage and look a certain way, I just wouldn't do it. I hear so many people say, about bikini competitors, and my friend did a bikini competition and she, suffered from an eating disorder afterwards, and she was so unhealthy and her hair started to fall out and her nails were breaking. And I'm like, seriously? Like, why would you ever put yourself through that? Why would that ever be worth it? I think the difference between kind of most people, especially young bikini competitors, maybe in their 20s, and the women who join this program is usually the women in this program, put your hand up if you're kind of over 40. I think the women who join this program, we're usually kind of wet behind the ears. Like we're not usually under the age of 30 or 35. Most of us are over the age of 40 or 50 or in their 60s. And so I think that, we're past the stage where we know that we're not invincible. We're past the stage where we would just pump a lot of crap into our bodies in order to look good. And we kind of understand that, your health is your wealth, and we're here to build something stronger in the long term. So anyway, so general health. So let's go back to supplements and let's see what I recommend. So the first thing that I recommend, as you guys have probably seen in general health, and this is one of the essential ones that I recommend that everybody takes, is a vitamin B complex. So it's important that you take. A lot of people think that vitamin B12 is the most important nutrient, or vitamin B6, and while they are very important, it's a vitamin B complex will give you 100% of the recommended daily intake of all of the B vitamins, and your body does need all of the B vitamins. And truly, like vitamin B, or a deficiency in vitamin B in many different vitamin Bs, this is a full spectrum of them, has been linked to so many things like, low energy, inflammation in the body, hair loss, weight gain, depression, anxiety, mood swings. People just don't realize how essential B vitamins are. And many people, whether they are carnivores or whether they are vegetarians or vegan, many people are deficient in vitamin B. And the reason why is because, you do get vitamin B12 obviously from eating meat, which we don't do, but Years ago, vitamin B used to be very, very prevalent in soil. So because we used to forage for a lot of foods, and we would have eaten foods that were taken from the ground and, just kind of the dirt washed off them, if you like, we used to get a lot of B vitamins from the food that we dug up from the ground. But our food is so sanitized these days that we're just not getting the same nutrients that we used to. And that is why we don't get as much vitamin B. But vitamin B is one of those kind of absolutely essential ones that I would recommend that everybody takes, because many people are deficient in vitamin B, and it is a massive cause of inflammation in the body, and it is something that you really don't want to be deficient in. So whether you're carnivore, vegetarian, or vegan, vitamin B complex is one that I absolutely want you to be taking. Okay. Now, the second one that I have on the list here, which is the essentials, which you guys will see, is magnesium. So magnesium is so important, and people don't realize just how important it is. And it was very hard for me to just choose two. Like, I could have put, and I did say optional here, and I put the rest of them on there. And probably with the essentials too, I would have said flax oil or omega-3 is very, very important too. It is extremely important, but what I realized is people are very deficient in magnesium too. Magnesium is not something that we are getting enough of these days. It's also known as the sleepy drug. So people who have trouble sleeping, usually are deficient in magnesium. So whenever you take magnesium, it really does help to relax the body and helps you to sleep. And that's because magnesium is essential for nerve conduction, and essential for, it protects the myelin sheath around the end of the nerves. It's important for muscle contraction, for the muscles sending messages to each other and to the brain. It's important for digestion. Quite often, whenever people take magnesium, what it does is it draws water into the bowel, and it helps with stool consistency. So whenever you aren't regular, so going back to what I talked about with the liver before, many people don't know that your liver processes your blood. Your liver takes everything out of your blood, such as it takes your cholesterol out of your blood, and it takes your hormones out of your blood, and it also burns fat in the body, as well as cleansing the blood and doing many, many other things. But whenever the liver has taken all these things out of the blood, then it must put them somewhere in order to get rid of them. Okay. And what the liver does is it dumps everything that it has taken out of the blood into the digestive system. Okay. That's where it gets rid of it, into the digestive system. But if your digestive system is backed up and you're not pooping 3 times a day, then what happens is it gets reabsorbed through the small intestine back into the blood and gets carried back to the liver again. And the liver's going, no, you've been here already. We don't want you before. Get out of here. So the liver sends it back to the digestive system, but the digestive system obviously is not... Sorry, I was distracted for a second. The digestive system is not running efficiently enough to get rid of everything, so it goes back into the blood and sends it back to the liver. So it creates a vicious cycle. So you want to make sure that you're very regular all the time. Magnesium is one of the things that does this, as well as L-glutamine, which we'll talk about in a minute. And magnesium is a fantastic way to make sure that you stay regular, as well as just helping with muscle soreness, muscle contraction, nerve contraction, all of those different things. So magnesium is definitely up there with the essentials. I usually take a ionic liquid magnesium. I add it to my water. So I drink 2 of these water bottles a day. These are 1.5 liters. And I add usually 1 capful to each bottle. So I'm taking a good amount of magnesium orally. I also add it to my bath. It's very well absorbed very easily absorbed through the skin. So I add Epsom salts to my bath, but I add like 3 big cups of Epsom salts. Like I order 25 kilos of Epsom salts per time, and I dump them into the bath every single night. So magnesium, definitely one of the essentials that I recommend that everyone takes. And then I have here on the optional list, there was loads that I could have put on here, and it was hard for me to really narrow it down, but I wanted to make sure that you guys, weren't like overwhelmed. It was like, oh my God, I have to buy all of these supplements, because if you have to buy all of them in one go, it's going to cost like a lot of money. Vitamin C, very strong antioxidant. And it's, it helps to reduce chronic diseases, battles high blood pressure, helps iron absorption, boosts immunity. It's really essential, but it also is one that helps your body doesn't retain water whenever you don't have enough vitamin C. It's something that we take in the final week before a competition. We actually start off on like 1,000 milligrams a day and go up 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. So you actually take an insane amount of vitamin C, but whatever the body doesn't absorb, it just excretes through your urine. So you never need to worry about overdosing on vitamin C, and many people just don't take enough of it. So what we recommend is you take between 1,000 and 3,000 milligrams per day, because the average recommended daily amount that is recommended for, on the backs of bottles doesn't really apply to athletes. It's kind of for average people. The other one that I recommend is liquid trace minerals. This is just, it's just like a multivitamin. I love the liquid trace minerals because they're highly absorbable. if that's a word, because whenever you take a multivitamin and you like a tablet and you put it in your mouth and it goes into your stomach, quite often your stomach acid destroys most of the nutrients before they've even had a chance to be absorbed into the bloodstream. Whereas whenever you take it as a liquid, it passes through very quickly and a lot of it is absorbed. So I love liquid trace minerals. Again, I just put a capful or 2 capfuls into my water and I just drink it every day. Omega-3 is probably, it probably should have been up there kind of with one of the essential ones. The reason why I didn't put it in with one of the essential ones is because usually people who aren't vegan will take a fish oil, but obviously we don't take fish oil on this program. And also fish oil can be very high in mercury, which is very toxic for the body, unless it's a really, really reputable source. So one of the ways you can get omega-3 is through flax oil. Now, many people say, is it okay to take flax seeds? The answer is yes and no. So flax seeds will give you omega-3, but whenever you take flax oil, you're getting a much higher concentrate of omega-3, much higher concentrate of omega-3 than you are with taking flax seeds. You have to eat quite a lot of flax seeds, but because if you can imagine, they're pressed and squeezed for the oil to come out. So you're getting a much higher concentrate whenever you take the actual flax oil. And the flax oil is one of those essential fatty acids that cannot be produced by the body. So you have to get it externally. So that's why it's essential. And you do get it through your food, but a lot of people just don't eat enough food, because it's very easy to get omega-6 and omega-9 through your food, but omega-3 just isn't as readily found. It's known for its benefits such as fighting depression, anxiety, improving eye health, brain health, reduced rate of heart disease, metabolic syndrome. It's really good for insulin resistance. So people who have syndrome X, it's called, or metabolic resistance, or if you've had blood sugar issues in the past, omega-3 is fantastic for helping to overcome that. But, it mostly, the things though that really benefit us in this program is it helps to reduce fat in the liver. Even though it is a fat itself, it helps to break down and reduce fat in the liver, and also helps with inflammation. So if you have inflammation in your muscles, you have inflammation in your tissues, many of us are chronically inflamed, which is horrendous. My housekeeper, Lorraine, she took her daughter to this guy, Scott, that we go and see, who's he does neurological integration systems. He's like a chiropractor. You guys have probably heard me talk about him before. Well, anyone who's been in the program for a while. Anyway, she took her daughter to see him. Her daughter has really bad PCOS, a really bad rosacea. And I said to her, to Lorraine, I said, her digestive system is completely out of whack. I'll tell you that now. I said, she will have chronic inflammation in her body. So I said, you need to take her to Scott to get him figured out. So he looked at her and he said, because I knew her, because your liver clears your hormones. Your liver clears estrogen out of your blood and dumps it into your digestive system. So if your liver isn't doing its job efficiently, you can become very estrogen dominant. So especially if your body is overproducing estrogen. So she took her to Scott, and Scott was like massively estrogen dominant, huge digestive issues. Her whole left side of her body is inflamed. Her digestive system is inflamed. Her whole left ovary is inflamed. That's why she's having really bad rosacea, and that's why she's having all of these issues. So she was like totally gobsmacked by it. Amazing. So omega-3 is fantastic for stuff like that. Fantastic. And it's also really good for your bone and your joint health as well. So it just helps to keep everything in the body supple. So always think health first, muscle building second. And then the last one that I have on the list here is kelp or iodine. So I didn't really know how important iodine was until a few years ago. Like, I knew that iodine was important, but I didn't realize how important until I went to see my kinesiologist. And I was, I always go and just see her, once a year or whatever, just to get everything checked out. And she was testing me and she said, do you sweat a lot? And I was like, do I sweat a lot? I was like, I literally lift my arm in the gym and the sweat just pisses off me. And she said, yeah, your thyroid isn't happy. And I said, my thyroid isn't happy. She said, no, it's not happy. She said, what I recommend that you do is you get some iodine and you put 5 drops in your bath 3 times a week. And I was like, iodine? She said, yeah. She said, you know that the thyroid, uses iodine to make the hormone T3. And I said, yes, I did. And she said, that's quite often many people are deficient in iodine, especially vegans, because how iodine is usually obtained. I know in America you do iodized salt. We don't do that here. So it's not normal to add, iodine or whatever, to have iodized salt here in the UK. So, but what they do is they use iodine to clean the teats of the cows before they milk them. And so the iodine then obviously goes into the milk, and then the milk gets drunk, or the dairy produce gets drunk. So we get traces of iodine in our food if you eat dairy, and that's where most people get iodine from. But if you don't eat dairy, then you're obviously not getting iodine. So it's you need to take an iodine supplement. So once I started taking the iodine, in fact, and I was like, I can put it in my bath, or I can just put it in my water. So I started putting a few drops in my water. I started taking it every day, and oh my God, my sweating disappeared. Like, disappeared. I couldn't believe it. So, and once then I got really deep into the research, and I realized that many vegans were deficient in iodine. And that was when many vegans who have an unhappy thyroid were deficient in iodine. I put it on the list, and it's one thing that I recommend now to people in the program. When they come to me, they say about, iodine, or they say about their thyroid, or they have hypothyroidism, or they have an unhappy thyroid. And I say to them, you need to take some iodine. And they're like, seriously? And quite often when they start an iodine supplement, their symptoms disappear, and their thyroid problems don't disappear. But many times, if you have an unhappy thyroid, either it's overproducing or underproducing, it's overactive or underactive, taking an iodine supplement can completely transform you, especially if you're vegan and you're not getting iodine from your food, because the thyroid is actually the only hormone that can absorb iodine. The only gland in the body that absorbs iodine. So iodine is absorbed by the thyroid. It makes the hormone T3, and whatever is left over in excess, it just discards. So you don't ever need to worry about overdosing on it, because your body only uses and absorbs what it can, and the rest gets discarded. So a lot of people don't know about kelp or iodine. I have vitamin D and iron on there as well. They're very low down the list of essential ones, simply because if you live in a hot country, you're getting loads of vitamin D, or if you go away on vacation, you're getting vitamin D. If you live in a cold country like Belfast, I don't need to take a vitamin D supplement, simply because I go away on vacation so much. So I actually got all my blood work done a few months ago, and my vitamin D levels were actually nearly toxic. They were so high. And she was like, do you take a vitamin D supplement? I said, no, I don't. I said, but I do go away on vacation a lot. So she said, oh, that's probably what it is. But actually, it's funny. Do you know what was interesting? I got my blood work done, which I do every year. I get 2,000 markers tested. Okay, 2,000 blood markers. This blood work that I get done costs £2,000. That's how much it costs to test it. It's extensive. It's the most extensive blood work that you can get done in the world. It's a worldwide company called Randox Health. And the only markers, they said I was literally the healthiest person they had ever seen. My score was, I think it was 97%. Now, can you imagine? 97% means that 97% were in the green range, as in like in optimal range in my blood markers. And they test everything, all of your organs, all of your tissues, everything. And the only things that were slightly off were, are you ready? My total iron binding capacity was slightly high, which means that my iron levels weren't high, but there was total iron binding capacity is the ability of iron to bind to another chemical or another system in the body in order to make it work more efficiently, which it's actually quite an unimportant one, they told me. And my vitamin D levels were too high. And they were like, but you're vegan. Like, how can this be? We thought your iron would be low and your vitamin D would be low. And I was like, because I take care of my health before I take care of anything else. So that's a really good lesson to you. If you eat whole foods, and people say, but you drink alcohol. I do. I enjoy a drink occasionally. But because my body is so clean and so healthy and I treat it so well, my tissues are so strong, and I lift hard and then heavy in the gym, and I do loads of cardio, and my body is strong and healthy. And so whenever you treat your body really well, you can eat crap food very occasionally. You can have a drink if you want, if you like alcohol, you just need to make sure that you're treating your body well, and all of these things fall into place. So, but if you do live in a cold country, or you're not getting enough sunshine, then vitamin D is a really good one to take. It helps to promote calcium absorption in the gut. It also helps to with immune function, reduction of inflammation. But also, what I would say about vitamin D is make sure you get a spray. So the tablets are just destroyed by the acid in your stomach. You want to make sure you get a spray, and you spray it under your tongue. That's the best way that it's absorbed. And quite often it'll say to take like 500 IU or like 1,000. You don't. You want to take like 3,000 or 4,000. So you just want to ignore what it says on the bottle. See, whatever it says on the bottle when I'm taking a supplement, I ignore it and I double it. Do you know why I double it? Because I'm an athlete and I'm putting very, very high demands on my body. So I need to make sure that I'm getting the essential vitamins and minerals that I need. And so anything that it says on the bottle, I usually just double it. Okay, so any questions so far before I move on general health supplements. Let me see. Rusty is saying, is there a name for the test? It's called look up Randox Health, Rusty. I'll write it up here. Randox Health. I'll reply to you. Can't remember the name of the test. Randox Health is the name of the company. If you Google them, you'll find all their tests. They have like an every woman or an every man one. It's a slightly less expensive one. It's only £500, only £500. And then the one that I get is I think it's called the signature package or something. But they actually sponsor me, so I get mine cheaper. I don't get it free, but I do get it cheaper. And anyone who does it through me gets, I think, a 10% discount, as far as I know. So you'll get like a £200 discount if you did the most expensive one. But I just think for what I do and for the demands I place on my body, I think it's so important. And let me tell you a quick story. So the guy who I first spoke to whenever I went for the Randox Health test, he said to me that the reason why he believes in it so much is because his wife, whenever he first started working for Randox, his wife and him obviously had the test, the signature test, and it flagged up something in her blood, which was the start of a cancer growth in, I can't remember where it was in her body, but it was somewhere that was very easily treated. But had this gone undetected, it would have grown into a malignant tumor that would have, I don't know whether they would have been able to treat it or not treat it or whatever, but it would have grown into a malignant tumor. But because it was detected in her blood, they were able to treat it with a course of antibiotics, and it went away, and she didn't obviously have a malignant tumor. So he was like, I am so sold on this. It is unbelievable. So this kind of blood work will not only test your kidney function, your liver function, your heart health, your tissues. It tests your hormone. People are like, oh, you eat so much soy. And I'm like, yes, I do. And they're like, your hormones will be really bad. Well, firstly, soy does not affect your hormones. That's complete bullshit. Secondly, I get a very extensive hormone test every single year. And guess what my hormones are? Perfect. So I'm like, and I eat like 120, 150 grams of soy per day. So it doesn't affect your hormones at all. So don't believe that. Right. Okay. So let me see some comments here. Let me see. Oh, there's loads and loads and loads. Okay. So Charity is saying that do you recommend ACV? Yes, I do recommend apple cider vinegar. I don't really see it as a supplement though. For me, it's more of a food. Like I have it here. Look, this is my apple cider vinegar that I use. Natural Umber, it's called. I just pick it up and drink it out of the bottle. So I do recommend apple cider vinegar. I don't see it as a supplement though. It is something that I take. I will just pick that up and just like drink like a tablespoon of it, like quite often before my lunch. I sprinkle it on my salads. So I don't ever really use a dressing on my salads, especially when I'm shredding. I just put my thumb over the top of that and just sprinkle it on the top of my salads. That's all I take on a salad is apple cider vinegar. So I do use it. It is really good for helping the body to break down fat and process it much quicker. It helps the liver to break down fat. It's good for general health. So it is something that I recommend, but it isn't something that I would consider a supplement. But yes, it is something that I take. Kazuza is saying, can I follow the instruction for how to take supplements that I got in the 4-week program? Well, the 4-week shred is a completely different program to this one. So the supplement stack in that is very specific to that program. So I would, unless you're on a shred, which you shouldn't be if you're in this program, I wouldn't recommend that you follow that supplement stack. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but it's a very intense supplement stack. It's a very regular, very intense, and it would be hard to follow over the long term, I would imagine. So up to you. It won't do you any harm if you do, but I just would say just be careful because it is a very intense one. It is designed to get very fast results in a very short space of time. So just be careful. Just be careful is what I'd say. Let me see. Which magnesium is better, glycinate or citrate? Do you know? I don't know because I just normally take powdered magnesium. So I have absolutely no idea which one is better. The one that I take is either powdered magnesium or liquid magnesium. And it doesn't say on either whether it is glycinate or citrate. I would imagine that either is fine as long as they're magnesium. I can't imagine that one is going to be better for you than the other one. Let me see. Josephine is saying there are vegan vitamin D sprays. Vitamin D is also made from animal products. Yes, thank you, Josephine, for pointing that out. Goes without saying, always check that all the supplements that you buy are vegan friendly because many of the capsules are made from gelatin. So you have to actually type in vitamin B12 vegan. The brand that I usually recommend is by Solgar, Solgar. Solgar are a highly trusted brand of supplements. They usually are a little more expensive, but I think that it's better to pay and get the quality. So because a lot of supplements are just white label supplements. People don't realize this. I was going to launch my own supplement line a few years ago, and I looked into it. And all you do is you buy the supplements from a factory. Okay. And then they package them and put your label on them. So you send them the artwork for your label and you buy them in however many, whatever it is that you want. And they package them and stick your label on them. So it doesn't matter whether you're buying from this company or this company or this company or this company, they're generally all coming from the same place anyway. So just people always say, which brand? I'm like, really doesn't matter which brand because they're usually all coming from the same place anyway, unless it's someone like Solgar who actually make all their own supplements. So the cheaper ones usually are ones that have come from cheaper factories. And like anything in life, you always pay for what you get. Let me see. Okay, Fiona's saying, off topic, my husband is jealous of you. All you do is eat, sleep, and breathe, Kim. Do you know, Fiona, it's so funny. Whenever I'm like you, whenever I become whenever I become really into something, then I just go, I call it like, I have like a professional crush on someone. Like I've had various professional crushes in my lifetime. I've just come through a professional crush with Jordan B. Peterson, the psychologist. I've actually just become very good friends with his daughter, Michaela, as well. Who interestingly, and this is just completely off topic, Michaela actually eats a diet which is so she believes she has healed herself from many autoimmune diseases eating only meat, right? So we're kind of like, it's hilarious. We're kind of like the vegan and the meat eater. And people are like, how can you two be friends? I'm like, well, because, despite her food choices, which I don't agree with, she's actually a human being. And I'm perfectly capable of being friends with someone who doesn't support my life choices and my values. It's kind of just, that's what being a human being is all about. So anyway, I totally get what you're saying. I'm the kind of person who is like whenever I get immersed in something, I get totally immersed in it and I wallow in it and I fill myself up with it. When I'm filled up, then I just move on. That's what I do. Okay. Let me see. So I'm answering questions about general health supplements just at the minute. I'm going to go on to the other ones and I will answer ones again about fat burning or muscle, but I'm not going to answer about ALA or CLA or anything like that. Just want to take anything general health. So Josephine Williams, is it okay to take additional supplements related to workout and recovery? Yes, 100%. You can take anything that you want. You can, like these supplements that we recommend here are just the ones that we recommend that as a minimum you should take for general health and as a minimum that you should take for, muscle building and fat loss. I also take at various times whenever I need them, supplements by Herb Farm. So it's Herb, PHARM, Herb Farm. I take a liver tonic or else it's called a Stonebreaker, which is for your kidneys, like a kidney supplement. And I take an adrenal supplement as well for your adrenals. And I just, whenever I'm stressed, I will at the minute I'm feeling overwhelmed with the amount of work that I have to do to run my company and really just to run my company actually. And so I'm taking an adrenal supplement just to support my adrenals because I have my adrenals are firing constantly. Or if I ever have been away on vacation, I've had a little bit too, much to drink or whatever, then I will take a liver supplement. Or sometimes if I just feel like I need a boost or if I'm not sleeping well, I'll take, L-theanine for stress support. So I have different supplements that I will add in and take. I have some that I take religiously every single day that go into my pill box every single day. And then I have other ones that I mix and match and add in for whenever I feel that I need them. And one of the best tips I can give you for your daily supplements is to get a pill mill, like an old person's pill mill. Get one as well, though, that isn't just for a week. Get one that's for 2 weeks. And then every 2 weeks, drop in all of your supplements. And then all you have to do in the morning is open it up, drop it into your hand, boom, neck it, and away you go. So you don't have to sit and worry about opening 10 different bottles every single day. So yes, you can take anything else that you need. Anything else. Natalie is saying how much flax oil per day. 1 tablespoon is fine. Make sure you count it in your macros though, okay? So 1 tablespoon is fine. Natalia is saying, I'm on antibiotics now for 1 more week. I had dental surgery. Oh, you poor lamb. What detox do you recommend before I start to go back to my workouts? You don't need to detox afterwards. I wouldn't recommend that. But what I would say is make sure that you take a good course of probiotics. So after you finish your antibiotics, not at the same time, always after, make sure you take a good probiotic to replace all of the bacteria in your gut that were destroyed by the antibiotics. That's something that I would really recommend. Another thing I used to take is digestive enzymes for general health. So I used to order blue-green algae, and it used to arrive frozen. And it went into the freezer, and then you had to defrost it, and it was called E3 Live. It was really expensive, and you had to defrost it and then take a supplement in water. So digestive enzymes are really good for anyone with digestive issues. I stopped taking them, to be honest. I don't have digestive issues. I poop 3 times a day. I'm like clockwork. So I really don't, my diet is so conducive to just a very, very healthy digestive system. So I didn't feel that I needed the digestive enzymes, and I'm kind of like a walking pillbox anyway. So I thought the less that I can take, the better. Let me see. Charity, do you take adaptogens? Yes, the Herb Farm tonics they are adaptogenic herbs. That's what they are mostly. So they're made up of all different adaptogenic herbs in different quantities to either support the liver or to support, the adrenals, or, to support the kidneys. Adrenals, kidneys, and liver are the kind of main ones for me. I don't take adaptogens in there. I don't take like reishi mushroom or anything like that unless I specifically have a specific issue or something I need help with. Then I might take a specific one, like holy basil leaf or something. But it just depends on what's going on for me. But quite often I don't take them kind of day and daily because I don't have any conditions that I am, working to overcome. But I am not adverse to them, and they are in the Herb Farm the Herb Farm tonics that I take as well. Okay, Sarah's saying, how do you feel about essential oils? I'm not a big essential oil person. I never have been. My family are really into essential oils. Like I put lavender drops in my bath at night. I love geranium. I have geranium here, and I have a diffuser in my office, and I put geranium drops in the diffuser, and it wafts water and geranium in here. But I'm not a big essential oil person. I know I have a friend who's massive into the doTERRA, whatever they're called, doTERRA oils. And so she buys me all of this stuff. She buys me like all of these, all of these lip balms and things. So, but again, I'm just too busy, to be honest. That's the honest to God's truth. Everything in my life, I filter through how much effort is this going to take from me. And if I had to sit and figure out all different essential oils, I just wouldn't do it. So again, I don't know enough about them. I believe that they are amazing, and they probably do work, and they help with all different kinds of stuff. It's just not something that I'm into. But I think that if you are and you want to use them too, that's amazing. Okay, just a couple more questions, and then we'll go on to the other supplements. Kefir water is a great probiotic. It is. I used to make my own water kefir. Haven't made it anymore because, to be honest, it just got too bloody annoying to make it constantly. Kombucha too, I do, and fermented foods. Yep, I eat regularly fermented foods. We make fermented salsa, we make sauerkraut. I also make my own kombucha. If you guys would be interested in knowing how to make that, let me know. I'll do a demo. I make 8 liters of kombucha a week, a big massive vat of it. And kombucha is a fermented tea. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who do make it yourselves, use chai tea to make it. Try it. It's like Christmas in a bottle. So chai tea is amazing for making kombucha. It's also a really, really good probiotic and it actually helps. It's full of lauric acid. It actually helps to break down lipid coated viruses such as flu and HIV and stuff as well. Like the benefits of kombucha are absolutely incredible. So definitely take those. Yes, if you like kombucha, that's something that you really should take. Okay, so muscle growth. So let's go on to muscle growth. So a lot of people ask me about muscle growth supplements, and I'm going to be completely transparent and say that at the minute, I am not taking any muscle growth supplements. In fact, at the minute, apart from my general health, I'm not taking any supplements apart from my usual vitamin B, flax oil, vitamin C. I'm actually taking zinc at the minute as well, zinc and magnesium. So I am not taking any supplements only because I got lazy. And because, well, actually for 2 reasons. I'll tell you why. I have built my body into something that I believe is pretty spectacular. I absolutely love my body. And I don't think there's many people can look in the mirror and say that. So I'm really happy with my muscle. I'm really happy with how my glutes look, my legs look, my shoulders, my back. I'm really happy with my body, and I love my training. So, and I'm not competing anymore on stage. So I don't have that competitive edge where I kind of just need to make sure that, everything is exactly as it should be and everything's on point. Whenever I'm competing, I am like, everything must be on point. Supplements on point, training on point, whatever. Now, whenever I first started out training, like you guys are, and started, training for the body of a physique athlete, I made sure that everything was covered, like everything. I was consistent with everything. So one thing I am is very consistent. I'm either consistently doing something or I'm consistently not doing something. And at the minute, I'm consistently not taking muscle building or fat burning supplements. Why? Laziness. Honest to God's truth, I got out of the habit of putting them into my shake every day. And now that I'm out of the habit, I keep forgetting to put the damn things in. And so then I just thought, well, you know what? Let's do a wee experiment and see let's do an experiment and see, do I feel any different? Do I feel, has anything changed? And actually it hasn't. So the one thing I do take though is Vitargo. I never, ever, ever miss my Vitargo. But so the reason why I'm telling you this and I'm being transparent about it is because I want you to know that it really, if you decide not to take any of these supplements, you will still get really good results. Now, do I believe it's better in the beginning to take them? Yes. Why do I believe that? Because I did and I got really good results. Can I prove that the results were because of the supplements I took? No. But I do believe that everything ties in. Your training, your nutrition, and your supplements. When everything comes together and you're consistent in all three areas, then you get spectacular results. So if you do want to give yourself a little boost in terms of, muscle growth or just, and not even muscle growth, but yeah, like muscle growth, recovery, tissue repair, all of that, then these are the supplements that I would recommend. So L-leucine is the one that I recommend that is the most important. And many people ask me, because L-leucine is already contained in BCAA and branched chain amino acids, do they need to take a separate leucine supplement? The answer, I believe, is yes. And that's because if you're taking a BCAA with leucine in it, you're getting the three amino acids in the BCAA, which are diluted in quantity. So you're only getting a third of each of them rather than getting a full big dose. So also it says to take 5 grams of leucine. I take 10 grams in my smoothie. I never take what they recommend, which is far less. I always take far more, but also it is the most important amino acid, in my opinion, for muscle building. It stimulates muscle growth, it modulates insulin sensitivity, and it helps to break down fat cells. So if you are looking to build muscle, burn fat, and help your body your insulin to store nutrients more efficiently, then L-leucine is one of the best ones that you can take. When is the best time to take it? The minute you set down your last weight. So the minute you set down your last weight in the gym, you should be picking up your smoothie, drinking your smoothie, and it should have your Vitargo, your protein, and your leucine, creatine, and L-glutamine, which we're going to talk about now. It helps greater muscle protein synthesis, allows the body to recover from exercise better. It helps the body to perform better, counteracts the negative effects of aging. The benefits are phenomenal. Now, all of these amino acids, a lot of people ask, is it really essential to take them? And I always say, listen, these amino acids that we recommend that you take, they are all things that are available in your food. So normally you're getting these from food, right? But whenever you are eating and training like an athlete, you need greater amounts of them than you're possibly getting from your food. So that's why that we recommend that you take them in higher doses, and it's why that we recommend that you take them at specific times. So L-leucine is definitely one that I would recommend. Now, L-glutamine is the second one that I have here on the list, and L-glutamine is not only incredible for helping your body helping to prevent the breakdown of muscle tissue, it improves protein metabolism for use after prolonged exercise, and it also helps the digestive system. So L-glutamine is you're getting a double whammy with it. I remember reading a study about people in hospitals who had leaky gut syndrome and also Crohn's disease and also IBS. So people who have chronic IBS or leaky gut should take L-glutamine anyway. That's what they recommend that you take in hospitals. A lot of doctors are actually prescribing L-glutamine as a way to combat IBS and leaky gut. So I have a friend who has IBS and she takes L-glutamine, and whenever she doesn't take her L-glutamine, it really makes a massive difference. Like, she really suffers from her IBS. So if you suffer from IBS or any kind of digestive issues, I would recommend that you take L-glutamine in the morning, after exercise, and in the evening. Now, if you don't suffer from any digestive issues, then you can just take L-glutamine after exercise. But if you really want to boost your chances of success in this program, I would take it after exercise, and I would take it in the evening before bed. So quite often I have a protein shake before I go to bed. That's kind of my evening meal. And I will add L-glutamine to my protein shake, and it helps to repair the gut overnight whenever you're sleeping. Love L-glutamine. And then Vitargo. Loads of you have been asking about Vitargo. Vitargo is like revolutionary. It's a patented formula, okay? It's a patented formula. It's a high molecular weight carbohydrate, which means that, and it has high osmolality. And but basically what that means is it's basically a pure powdered carbohydrate. It is absorbed because of how it is packaged and broken down. It's absorbed through the wall of the small intestine very, very quickly. I have a hair and it's driving me insane. I can't find it. I think that's it now. No, it's not. It's absorbed through the wall of the small intestine very, very, very quickly, and packed into the, sent into the bloodstream as glycogen, and then packed into, well, actually as glucose, and then packed into the muscles as glycogen. And so because whenever you have been training, the GLUT4 receptors, or GLUT4 receptors, people call them, on the surface of the muscle cell are open, because your body has been sending a supply of blood and nutrients and amino acids to the muscle to fuel it while you're training. The GLUT4s are open on the surface of the muscle cell. This means that as you start to put demands on your muscles, the GLUT4s open in order to accept more. Two reasons: in order to release glycogen into the blood for energy, and in order to receive more amino acids, more nutrients, and whatever they need. So it's basically they're releasing and accepting, releasing, accepting. That's what the GLUT4s are for. So the surface of your fat cells, surface of all cells have GLUT4s, but the surface of your fat cells also have GLUT4s, okay? But they are not open whenever you're training. They are open whenever you eat. So whenever you eat, your pancreas secrete insulin. Insulin is pumped into the blood. Insulin is a storage hormone. Insulin picks up the glycogen and it transports it through the blood looking for places that need it. So it dumps it into muscle stores, and then it also signals to fat cells to open their GLUT4s, and then it starts to dump it into fat cells. But here's the thing. Whenever you're training, the GLUT4s on the surface of the muscle cell, let's say you're training shoulders, okay? The GLUT4s on the surface of all of the muscle cells in your arms and in your shoulders and in your back and all of those areas where you've been using your primary and secondary muscles are all open. So they're all going, me, over here, need some over here. They're like, hello. And so they're receiving more and more and more of the Vitargo, which is exactly what they need, because they need to grow bigger and better and stronger, and they want to repair faster. So the more glycogen you can pump into your muscle after you've eaten, the fuller your muscle is, the better your recovery. That's what Vitargo is for. So a lot of people, are like, oh, do I have to take Vitargo? I'd rather just eat whole food. And I'm like, well, I know there's and I talked about this yesterday, there's kind of a big whole food movement sweeping America where everyone, because I didn't realize that your food is so packaged over there. Like macaroni cheese comes in a packet. Macaroni cheese over here, you make from scratch. You make a bechamel, you make a white sauce, you add cheese or vegan cheese, whatever. You cook the macaroni, you pour the sauce on. Like I've never, apart from like a high-end store like Marks and Spencer, where they do like convenience meals, where it's far too expensive to purchase them. So over here, this is what I learned yesterday, right, from my project manager. She was like, convenience packaged food over here is really cheap and whole food is really expensive. I was like, really? I was like, over here it's the opposite. Whole food is really cheap and packaged food is really expensive. So nobody would buy a packaged mac and cheese. You would make it yourself at home. So I know that you guys have a thing about, especially the Americans have a thing about whole foods, because everyone's trying to get away from the packaged stuff because it's so bad for you. And I totally support that. But I think that there's a time and a place for whole foods. And I think that if you are trying to bodybuild and you're trying to, build your body and, build a spectacular body, then I think that you need to be taking Vitargo, protein powder. I didn't put protein and powder on here, but, I don't really see protein powder as a supplement. I see it as a food, to be honest. So Vitargo is definitely one that I would recommend. Now, protein powder as well. Protein powder is essential that you look for a protein powder that's high in protein but low in fat and carbs, okay? You don't want to have one with like loads of sugar, loads of fat, loads of carbs. You want to have at least 24 grams of protein per scoop, and you want to have one that is reasonably low in carbs and reasonably low in fat. So if you're looking at your protein and it has 24 grams of protein per scoop and it also has like 15 grams of carbs, that's far too high. The calories will be really high. The calories in a scoop of protein powder shouldn't go above 120. If the calories per scoop are above 120, you're not getting very many calories. Like my husband buys these Huel bars, right? I just found this in my bag. He must have dropped it in the other day. He likes these Huel bars. They're vegan, high protein vegan bars, right? So I picked it up and I was like, oh, interesting. I wonder what these are. So I was looking, the first thing I do is look at nutrition. So I looked at the nutrition and I was like, per bar, 15 grams of protein. I was like, oh, it's not bad for a protein bar, 15 grams of protein. And then I immediately look at the calories. 250 calories in this bar. And I was like, 250 calories and only 15 grams of protein? That's insanely high. Like, these are a meal replacement bar. I would never eat this. Okay. Never. So, because, my protein powder that I use has 111 calories per scoop, right? So there's 25 grams of protein per scoop. So I'm getting 50 grams of protein for 222 calories. This has 250 calories and I'm only getting 15 grams of protein. This is where people make their mistake, right? They don't realize that shit like this is only giving you 15 grams of protein and it's giving you 250 calories. It's going to make it very difficult for you to reach your protein goals by the end of the day. So you really want to look at protein ratio to calories in order to, whenever you're making a decision on what I should eat. And then I was like, well, what are the carbs of this? I thought it must have a lot of fat or a lot of carbs because that's what pushes the calories up if it doesn't have a lot of protein. So I was like, oh yeah, fat, 9.2 grams, reasonably high. Carbohydrates, 24 grams. 24 grams of carbs in this tiny little bar. So I was like, I am not eating you. Thank you very much. I mean, I would if I was bulking, but I'm not. I'm shredding. So I would never consume 250 calories for only 15 grams of protein. Absolutely not. So you need to get really good with reading labels and really good with understanding how much protein I get for how many calories. And you want to make sure that you're getting at least 20 to 25 grams of protein for around roughly 100 to 120 calories. And that's kind of your benchmark. Okay, fat burning. I only have 2 on here because really, all you really need to do is burn fat is work really hard, do loads of cardio and eat less, right? But if you do want to help yourself, you do want to help your fat burning goals, these are the 2 that I recommend. ALA, alpha lipoic acid, an antioxidant that dissolves in both fat and water, allows it to recycle vitamin C and E, which is amazing. But what it does is, here's the GLUT4s, right? Studies show that ALA increases GLUT4 transporters on the outside of the muscle cells and away from fat cells, an increase of 50 to 60%. So what that basically means is whenever you take ALA about 20 minutes before you eat, remember the GLUT4s we were talking about? It opens the GLUT4s on the muscle more than it opens the GLUT4s on the fat, which means that more of the nutrients that you eat get shuttled into muscle and away from fat store. So it stops your body from storing fat, basically. So, and it's also an excellent glucose regulator as well. So the more ALA you have in your blood, the more your glucose is regulated, which means that, you're not going to have glucose spikes, which means you're not going to feel hungry and you're not going to go on that glucose roller coaster. So ALA is a really, really good one. You take like 1 to 2 tablets, about, 50 to 500 to 1,000 milligrams, I would say, about 20 minutes before you eat. You can take it before your 3 main meals, before breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Don't worry about the shakes if you really are committed to your ALA intake. And then the last one is, L-carnitine carries fat to cell mitochondria to be converted into usable energy. So basically what it means is if you take ALA 30 minutes before you train, your body will burn more energy from fat store than from muscle glycogen, which is always what we want. So your body has 2 main energy sources, okay? It has the food that you eat and it has fat store. So rather than using the food that you've eaten as energy, so the energy floating around your blood and in your muscle stores, your body will access fat stores as energy if you take L-carnitine 30 minutes before you train. So it's only whenever you start to train and you put an exercise demand or a calorie demand on your body, that's what L-carnitine is for. So what I quite often do is I put L-carnitine in my bag whenever I take them. And whenever I know I'm heading to the gym, then I will just pop an L-carnitine or 2 L-carnitine on the way to the gym. Top tip, don't get the powder. It tastes absolutely revolting. Get the tablets. And the tablets are huge and they taste disgusting too. But at least if they're tablets, you can just break them in half, buck them in your mouth and get them down with some water. And also L-carnitine is also amazing. It helps... It decreases cravings, which is amazing. So if you're having like cravings, you want chocolate and you're dieting, really good for that. Increases your metabolic rate, which basically means that your body will burn more fat. And it also helps to lower cholesterol and triglyceride levels, as well as improving cardiac performance. So really good for everything. L-carnitine is one of those amino acids that kind of is like a multifaceted one that works across all channels, but it also is just the main thing that it does is it burns fat as energy rather than burning muscle glycogen, which is really, really good. Well, did you enjoy that episode? I absolutely love talking about supplements and I love busting some of the myths about supplements and, really just driving home the message that you really don't need supplements to make the biggest muscle gains or to make the biggest progress in the world of bodybuilding. What actually will get you the progress that you're craving and build the body that you've always wanted is just consistency, discipline, and hard work. Yes, I know I'm always preaching it and I know I sound like a broken record, but it is so true. And I hope that by hearing it over and over and over again, you will start to believe me and you will start to apply discipline, consistency, and all of those things to your training and really see some good results for yourself. And don't forget to leave us that review on iTunes if you haven't done already. You could win a copy or a membership to the Sculpt and Shred program, our signature 18-month program. All you have to do is leave a review. We're going to pick out a winner every single month. And if it's you, I will see you on the inside of the program. And if it's not you, I will see you here next week for another episode of Strong and Sculpted. Thank you so much for listening. I really, really value the fact that you tune in and listen to me every week. And I will talk to you again in the next 7 days. Bye for now.